Good morning children. Welcome to our online video class of chemistry. I hope all of you are doing great and safe. Did you remember what we had learned in previous section? Let's recollect. We learned about types of chemical reaction. What are the different types of chemical reactions? Combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction and redox reaction. And we had discussed about combination reaction and decomposition reaction. Today we will discuss about double displacement reaction, displacement reaction and redox reaction. First we are going to discuss about displacement reaction. Displacement reaction. From the name itself, you can say what is displacement reaction. Something is displaced here. And displacement reaction is the reaction in which a more active element displaces a less active element from its compound. Or we can say the chemical reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from a compound is called displacement reaction. It is also known as substitution reaction or single displacement reaction or replacement reaction. In displacement reaction, the more reactive element displaces the less reactive element. Consider this equation. A react with the compound BC gives AC plus B. Here A is more reactive than B. Then A replaces B and gives AC plus B. What is happening in displacement reaction? The more reactive element displaces the less reactive element. So we have to know which element has higher reactivity and which has lower reactivity. Before we take up an example of displacement reaction, it is important to study the relative reactivities of metal and non-metals. From your lower class, you had learned that different metal possess different reactivity, is it? Some metals are highly reactive, whereas some others are less reactive. Based on the study of their reaction, the metal have been arranged in the order of their reactivity. That is reactivity series. What is reactivity series then? The reactivity series of metal, also known as the activity series. And it is the arrangement of metal in the descending order of their reactivities. The more active element lies above the reactivity series, whereas the less reactive metal lies below the reactivity series. Any one of you notice that hydrogen is included in the series? Is hydrogen is metal? It is non-metal. Then why does hydrogen is included in the series? Because like metals, hydrogen can lose electrons to form positive ions. It can exist as H plus ion. As metal lying above the hydrogen are more reactive and below the hydrogen is less reactive. Let us illustrate an example for displacement reaction. For that, take some quantity of copper sulfate solution and dissolved in water. After that, place a iron nail into it. Then wait for 30 minutes. After that, you can observe that blue color of copper sulfate solution fades and it changes into light green color. And the iron nail which we placed inside it become brownish in color. You can observe that a brownish coating on its surface. This shows that iron reacts with copper sulfate gives ferrous sulfate, that is light green solution. In this reaction, the more reactive metal, that is iron Fe, displaces less reactive metal copper from the copper sulfate. Other examples are reaction of zinc with copper sulfate solution. There is reactivity series in the case of non-metals. Halogens. In the case of halogens, fluorine is most reactive and iodine is least reactive. Reactivity series of halogen is fluorine is greater than, chlorine is greater than, bromine is greater than iodine. Now let us look at an example for displacement reaction of non-metals. Potassium iodide plus chlorine. Which is the most reactive element in the case of halogen? Chlorine. Chlorine is more reactive than iodine. Then what will happen? The chlorine replace or displace iodine. Thus we get KCl, potassium chloride plus iodine. Next we are going to discuss about double displacement reaction. Reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants are called double displacement reaction. Precipitation reaction and neutralization reaction are double displacement reactions. Let us discuss now what is double displacement reaction in detail. In double displacement reaction, exchange of anions and cations take place. What is anions? Anions are the negatively charged particles and cations are the positively charged particles. Let us understand double displacement reaction using an example. That is reaction between barium chloride solution and sodium sulfate solution. For that, take two test tubes. In one test tube, shake a pinch of barium chloride with about 5 ml of water. In another test tube, shake a pinch of sodium sulfate with about 5 ml of water. Mix the two solutions with a gentle shaking. Both the solutions are colorless. After that, we can observe that a white solid precipitate is formed. This is the chemical equation of the reaction. Barium chloride reacts with the sodium sulfate form barium sulfate and sodium chloride. In this reaction, both the anions exchange their positions. What are anions? Anions are negatively charged ions. Chloride ion and sulfate ion. That is, chloride ion of barium chloride have been replaced by sulfate ion of sodium sulfate. Whereas, sulfate ion of sodium sulfate have been replaced by chloride ions of barium chloride. Hence, it is a double displacement reaction. Neutralization reaction is also a double displacement reaction. What is neutralization reaction? In neutralization reaction, acid and base react together to form salt and water. Example is HCl react with hydrochloric acid, react with the sodium hydroxide. NaOH gives NaCl, that is salt, and water H2O. Here also exchange of ions take place. Hence it is a double displacement reaction. I hope you might have understood what we learned today. We learned today about displacement reaction and double displacement reaction. Children, I have posted another video of the remaining portion. Download it and study.